A little over a year ago, I wrote an article called The Legacy of Gwen Stacy. It performed well enough. I think it currently sits at about 700 views, and it's one I actually enjoyed writing, though granted, I don't like my own writing as I feel it's not good enough yet. But the point of the article was to talk about how the character of Gwen Stacy only gained the appreciation she has in hindsight. That during the time she was alive, she didn't have that much respect. I used quotes from people who worked on her and the ones who eventually wrote her death. A lot of my information came from interviews, books like Sean Howe's Marvel Comics' The Untold Story, and going through both older and newer storylines, including her. Annoyingly, I didn't include my sources at the end of the article, so hopefully I can find them from my save notes folder and add them later. What the hell was I thinking? But I wrote that article largely out of a love for one Spider-Man story in particular. Spider-Man Blue. Written by Jeff Loeb with art by Tim Sale, Spider-Man Blue is part of their colours selection, namely Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Grey, and Captain America White. The only one of these I haven't read is Hulk Grey, and I hear it's the weakest, but I need to get my hands on it myself to be sure. But each of these books deals with some form of love and loss. Daredevil focuses on Karen Page, Hulk I imagine would be on Betty Ross, Captain America on the loss of his friend and sidekick Bucky, and Spider-Man focuses on Gwen. Set years after Gwen's death, Peter and Mary Jane live happily together. But it's Valentine's Day and Peter can't help but think of the girl he once loved and failed to save. He takes himself off to the attic, grabs an old tape recorder and just talks to it. Talking to Gwen. The book follows Peter as he talks about his very early days as Spider-Man, meeting MJ and getting close to Gwen, how he fell in love with her and the hopes he had. There's some great fights with villains, fun hijinks with Harry and the others, but it's the story's ending that really holds a special place with this book. As Peter brings his story to a close, telling Gwen how much he misses her and that he feels blue, it's revealed that Mary Jane has been listening the whole time. Horrified for a moment and feeling incredibly guilty, Peter asks if she is okay. As Mary Jane goes to leave, she smiles and reminds him that Gwen was her friend too. That she came up to make sure he was okay, and to tell Gwen she misses her too. What I love about this story is how human it is. How it understands that feelings change but pain can stay with you. The understanding of humanity, and overall, I just love how sweet it is. If you haven't read it, I greatly recommend it. If you're interested in that article, I have linked it below. It's probably aged terribly, I find my writing ages very poorly, but a couple of second opinions are always appreciated. But most of all, I just want you to read this book.